Honestly, in my heart, I know I'm not a bad person. I don't wake up every day thinking, who am I going to rob or kill or shoot today? I'm not somebody that's a danger to the community. My whole neighborhood loves me. They're all older people, and since I was little, I've always helped them. And I really believe it. But if you give me one more chance, I'll succeed.
Court is calling 2023 CR 8111, State of Texas versus Matthew Castro. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Samuel Wallace for Mr. Castro.
And are you Mr. Castro?
Yes, Your Honor.
You had a plea of no contest to count one on October 17th. The court ordered a PSI and TAP evaluation. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 6 years in the prison. The state is opposing your application, and they took several cases into consideration. All right, are both parties ready to proceed? State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, state, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor.
A career criminal once told a Texas judge he wasn't a danger to anyone. Moments before, that same judge used an umbrella to expose every lie he had just told. This is the story of Matthew Castro, a man who broke into a stranger's RV, blamed his ex-wife, and then sat in a Texas courtroom insisting his crimes were simply mistakes. What happened next would become one of the most quoted sentencing exchanges in recent memory. And by the end, you'll understand exactly why judges draw a hard legal line between a mistake and a choice. A distinction that determines whether someone walks free or walks into a prison cell. Castro stood before the court facing multiple felony charges, including burglary of a habitation and felon-in-possession of a firearm. Under Texas law, a habitation isn't limited to a house.
Defense calls Mike Hernandez.
All right, Mr. Hernandez is appearing by Zoom. Any objections from the state?
No objection, Your Honor.
Any objections from you, Mr. Castro?
No, Your Honor.
And defense, it's your witness. I'm assuming you have no objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, if you could unmute
If
yourself.
someone lives in it, even temporarily, it counts. That legal detail mattered because the property Castro broke into wasn't an abandoned shed or empty garage. It was someone's home on wheels. He wasn't accused of petty theft. He was accused of violating the one place the law treats as sacred, where a person sleeps. His defense attorney, Samuel Wallace, built a case around redemption. A welding boss took the stand and said Castro was once his best worker, the kind of employee who lit up at the mention of a second chance.
Defense?
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Mr. Hernandez. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for being here. I know you're working. Can you tell the court how you know Matthew Castro?
He worked for me about 2 years. He worked for me about 2 years, 2015, 2017.
And what does he do for you?
He started as a helper at the shop, and then he moved up to a welder's helper.
And what does that exactly do? What were his tasks?
He helps a welder with anything that we're doing, giving him grinders, picking up welds, setting stuff straight for him as the welder's going.
And we spoke during the bond hearing. Is he coming back to work for you?
Yes, I'd like to get him back. He was doing real good before he left. He started having some problems at home, so we had to let him go. But I want to reinvest what I had going with him and get him going again, get him back to speed where we're at.
And I'm sure you know, but when I talked to Mr. Castro and asked him if he was ready to go back to work, he just lit up. Can you tell the court what kind of worker he is?
He was on point in time, always ready to go. He always helped us out. And we actually, when he left, it was hard to replace him. So I really would need him back.
Thank you, Mr.
Castro's
Hernandez.
mother described a son shaped by trauma, a brother shot in a drive-by, a marriage she called toxic, a young man who lost himself trying to survive it.
Defense?
Ms. Rivera, can you tell the court what your relationship with Matthew is?
His mother.
And can you tell the court, growing up, what kind of child was he?
Real good. My mom and dad helped me raise him. He always followed my dad and mom was around. Barbecue, fishing. We did everything. He would always help out, like when they were doing mechanic stuff in the vehicles. He would help out. He always wanted to help out.
And
They called him handyman.
Handyman?
He was little and they called him a little man. Yeah.
And how is he in school?
He was really good. He wasn't gifted and talented. I know you hadn't heard that. What is it called today?
That's like AP?
Yeah, it's really advanced. and his education.
And then
On paper, it was sympathetic. It was the story prosecutors fear most the defendant who sounds reformed. But prosecutor Hank Wilkins wasn't interested in the story Castro wanted to tell. He was interested in the pattern underneath it. One by one, he walked Castro's mother through a criminal history stretching back nearly a decade: burglary in 2014, burglary again in 2015, drug possession in 2016, other burglary in 2017, intoxication in
My name's Hank
2022.
Wilkins. I'm one of the prosecutors here. So you've known Mr. Castro his whole life?
Of course.
Okay. So you were in contact with him when he got sentenced in 2016 to possession of less than a gram, right? He got
Right.
probation in that case?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And he wasn't successful on that, was he?
No, he was,
And so he got sentenced at that point to 6 months, right?
yes,
And you were in contact with him in 2017 when he got sentenced on burglary of a vehicle, third, right? He got 10 months there, right? Okay. And you were in contact with him back in 2014 when he got sentenced on burglary of a vehicle, 4 months and 6 days, right?
yes,
And back in 2015, you were in contact with him when he got a year probation on burglary of a vehicle, second or more, right?
yes.
Each time, Castro had been given probation. Each time, he had failed to hold up his end of the deal. This wasn't a man caught in one bad moment. This was a documented cycle, and the prosecution intended to make sure the court saw it clearly. Here's a question worth sitting with for a second. How many chances does someone deserve before "I've changed" stops being believable? Keep that in mind, because the judge was about to ask Castro the same thing, and Castro's answer would expose more than he intended. When it was his turn to speak, Castro delivered what sounded, on the surface, like genuine remorse. He said he wasn't someone who woke up thinking about who to rob or hurt. He said his neighborhood loved him. He asked for one more chance, promising that if he failed, he wouldn't run, he would turn himself in.
This time will be different because it's my last chance. Yeah, I'm facing prison right now, and I don't want to go. Honestly, in my heart, I know I'm not a bad person. I don't wake up every day thinking, who am I going to rob or kill or shoot today? I'm not somebody that's a danger to the community. My whole neighborhood loves me. They're all older people, and since I was little, I've always helped them. And I really believe it. Like, if you give me one more chance, I'll succeed. And if I don't, I'm not going to run. I'll turn myself in, and y'all could do what y'all will with me.
So
It was a compelling performance. It was also, according to the judge, completely beside the point. The judge pressed Castro on the actual facts. Why hadn't he simply gone to his ex-girlfriend's house if he believed she had taken his belongings?
Why did you commit this crime?
Why did I commit this crime?
Mhm.
At the time, I was going through it with my wife. He kept all my belongings, left me with literally nothing. And I was just,
So why didn't you go to her house?
excuse me?
Why target
I
a
said-
stranger's RV instead? Castro admitted he needed money fast, so he broke in and took
Parking via
items to sell.
habitation.
Yes, sir.
So an RV is a habitation. So why are you taking their stuff? Because your girlfriend took your stuff and wouldn't return it.
I was just thinking of, I needed some kind of money somewhere real fast. I was just being immature
When
about
pushed
it.
further on why he hadn't simply called his mother or grandmother for help instead of committing a felony, his answers grew thinner. He didn't want to stress them out, he said, yet he had no problem putting a complete stranger
Call your
through
grandmother.
exactly that.
I don't want to put her through the stress as well.
All right. So you decided to put a stranger through this stress of having their items stolen.
It's my other horrible mistake. And like I
Nope. You made choices, not mistakes.
Then came
You
the
know-
moment that would define the entire hearing, and the moment most likely to end up clipped and shared with no context at all. Castro had referred to his crime as a mistake. The judge stopped him. A mistake, the judge explained, is grabbing the wrong umbrella that looks identical to your own and only realizing it once you're already outside in the rain. A choice is seeing someone else's umbrella, knowing it isn't yours, and taking it anyway because you need one. Castro hadn't mistaken a stranger's RV for his own. He had known exactly what he was doing every step of the way. That, the judge said plainly, was not a mistake. That was a decision.
No. Let me just tell you. It's raining outside. Here's the example, Diana. Weather forecast. I don't think anybody really anticipated it was going to rain today. But let's say you know it's going to rain today. Your mom tells you, your grandmother tells you, and so you come to court with an umbrella because you know it's going to rain today. People are coming in wet. You have your umbrella. You go outside and you're like, good thing my parent called me to say it was going to rain because I'm prepared. Now, let's say you don't know it's going to rain. You come to court and you see people coming in wet and you say, shucks, I don't have my umbrella. There's somebody sitting next to you who has an umbrella and you take it. That's a choice. Now, if you know it's raining and you bring your umbrella and you have a black umbrella and the person sitting next to you also has a black umbrella and you leave and you take an umbrella. And when you go outside and it's raining and you open up the umbrella and you realize this is not my black umbrella because I have initials on mine and it's not here, that's a mistake. So you going into that person's RV and taking their items, those were choices you made. That's not a mistake. You didn't mistakenly think, oh, this RV is the same color as mine. I'm a little bit intoxicated right now. And I know I always leave the door open and this RV's door is open. Let me go in there. You knew that wasn't your RV. You
It's the
understand?
kind of moment a lot of people recognize from their own lives, even outside a courtroom. A coworker who breaks the rules and calls it an accident. A manager who insists they didn't realize the policy applied to them right up until someone finally calls it what it is. Language is often the last line of defense for people trying to avoid
You
accountability.
understand? So you made a choice. So I'm trying to figure out, why did you choose to break into somebody's RV and take their items? And this whole thing about I'm going through things with my wife, that's not going to cut it. Because everybody here has had a bad problem, I'm sure, where they've gone through a bad relationship. That doesn't mean they go out and commit crimes and then want to pass because I was in a bad relationship. So why did you go and take their items?
The judge simply refused to let the language do its job. The prosecution pushed for the maximum 6 years, the cap allowed under the plea agreement. The defense asked for the minimum 2. Wilkins argued that burglary of a habitation and felon-in-possession charges aren't abstract paperwork crimes. They're inherently dangerous because they involve the exact scenario society's gun and property laws exist to prevent.
All right. And state with regards to sentence?
Judge, it's a cap of 6 years is what we agreed to. We're asking for the 6 years. As I talked about with some of the witnesses, these are inherently scary crimes. I don't know if there's a better way to put that, but breaking into where somebody lives, that's a scary thing. The reason that we have laws against felons walking around with handguns is because it's a scary thing. It's inherently a dangerous crime, Judge. These are not victimless crimes that the defendant's accused of. So we are asking for 6 years, Judge. And these are, like the court talked about with the defendant, these are not mistakes. These are choices the defendant made. So that we're asking for the 6 years, Judge.
All right.
Wallace argued his client had a job waiting and a support system ready to catch him.
Yes, Your Honor. And Your Honor, and I appreciate the court's patience. Any delay in this case has been absolutely my fault and not Mr. Castro's.
Oh, I don't hold delays against anyone.
No, just saying, Judge. So Mr. Castro, he actually pled on the first day that he received an offer. Since the time I met him, he's taken responsibility for this. I know he's made bad decisions before and he has a history, but he wants to change his life. He has a welding job set up and he's ready to get back to where he can contribute to society. And if this means that he has to do some time, he's willing to accept that. We would ask just for the 2 years, because whenever he does get out, Judge, I know he's going to be able to go get a job, be a contributing citizen. He has removed him. I can attest he's removed himself from a bad situation. You heard Mr. Vera testify how he's changed. I could even see that. I've never seen a client, when I mentioned working, when he was getting out on bond, how them light up and how excited they were. He's the only client I've ever seen that happen with. So Judge, we just ask that you give the minimum 2 years, let him do his time and be able to get out and contribute to society.
All right. And
so here's the part that will frustrate some viewers and satisfy others. The judge landed in the middle. Not 2 years, not 6. 5 years in prison with credit for time already served, plus an order of restitution and a lifetime ban on possessing firearms or ammunition as a convicted felon.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to...
Castro got more accountability than his defense wanted, but less than prosecutors argued the pattern actually deserved.
Court is going to sentence you to 5 years in the prison and give you credit for any time served.
Was that justice, or just a number that let everyone walk away feeling like they won something? That's a question worth leaving in the comments, because reasonable people land in very different places on it. What this case ultimately reveals isn't really about one man and one RV. It's about how easily the word mistake gets used to dodge the weight of a decision, and how a courtroom, when it's working the way it should, refuses to accept that substitution. The law doesn't punish bad luck, it punishes choices. And the moment someone in power stops letting people blur that line is the moment accountability actually means something. If you want to see more real courtroom moments where the truth finally catches up to the story someone's been telling, drop the case or the exchange you want covered next in the comments. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and let's keep building an audience that actually understands how justice is supposed to work.